Good morning, everyone. My name is Avi Teshuba. I'm the head of Canada for Heinz, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our T3 Bayside project, a project that brings together innovation, mass timber, and sustainability. Today, we are gathered for an exciting announcement. We will have the speakers, we'll hear from the ministers, and a few other speakers who are helping shape this next chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Mike Harris, Minister of Natural Resources.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. It's very, very exciting to be here today. At this beautiful building, we were able to get a quick tour before we started off, and having this announcement today in one of North America's largest mass timber buildings is very, very fitting. So thank you for Avi for having us and your team here at T3 Bayside. We've got a great announcement today. My good friend and Associate Minister of Forestry and Forest Products, Kevin Holland, is here with me. Of course, the great folks from CRIBE and Ontario Woodworks as well. We also have some representatives from the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association. President Rick Dumas is here, and also Mayor Plourde from Kapuskasing, the president of Northeastern Ontario municipalities as well. So it's great to have so many people here, gentlemen. Thank you for coming to celebrate the good news with us today. And of course, we're here to talk about the future of the province's forest sector, which is a cornerstone industry that has quite literally built Ontario. From the harvesters and sawmill workers in the north to the manufacturers and advanced wood construction workers here in the south, forestry provides over 150,000 good-paying jobs for workers across this province. Up north especially, forestry is personal. And being from North Bay, I can tell you I've seen the ups and downs of the forestry industry firsthand. And everyone knows someone whose livelihood is connected to the forestry industry, especially in Northern Ontario. And in fact, 1 in 4 northern communities depends on the jobs and income that the sector provides. The forestry sector is a crucial part of our plan to protect Ontario by building a strong, resilient, competitive, and self-reliant economy. Since 2022, we have invested over $350 million across the sector, creating hundreds of new jobs and supporting businesses in every corner of the province. Ontario is a leader in the G7 when it comes to making and selling of wood products, and the quality of our forests is what really makes it so attractive. Ontario wood is being used to build hospitals, community centers, and of course, buildings like the one we are here in today. And in 2020, during my time as parliamentary assistant here at the Ministry of Natural Resources, we released Ontario's forest sector strategy. Guided by this strategy, we took decisive steps to ensure Ontario is open for business and ready for investment. Some of those steps saved the sector over $2.1 million each year by streamlining our planning system. And we have achieved over 70% of the goals that we set out in that strategy. And while there is still work to be done, we cannot ignore the challenges of today. And the road to 2030 is not as we imagined it. We need a plan that will defend Ontario jobs and businesses, adapt to new markets, and grow demand here at home and abroad for Ontario wood products. And by working with industry, our government is bringing that forward, and we're very excited. We are ready with a plan that builds on our competitive advantage while strengthening supply chains to build a more competitive and resilient forestry sector. And it's now my honor and privilege to invite Associate Minister Holland up to the microphone to share a little bit more about the next steps we are taking to protect the forest sector. Thank you, everyone. Where'd he go? Sir?
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister Harris. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you to highlight the work being undertaken to protect communities across Ontario. From strengthening how we manage and steward Crown land to improving prevention, preparedness, and response to increasing and intense wildfires, this important work is helping protect communities, support workers, and ensure our natural resources forestry sector continues to drive Ontario's economy. I'd like to thank the OFIA, CRIBE, and Woodworks for joining us today and to repeat Minister Harris, as well Mayor Dumas, Mayor Plourde, and members of Ontario's Forest Sector Strategy Committee for joining us today. I'm glad you're all here as we embark a new chapter for Ontario's forest sector. As Minister Harris said, Forestry built Ontario. It is a key driver of our economy with businesses that generated close to $21 billion in revenue in 2024, providing thousands of good-paying jobs in thriving communities all across Ontario. And our government is proud of the forest sector in the province. We recognize, though, the external threats facing the industry ahead. Despite America's long history as our closest trading partner, President Trump has chosen to burden North America's lumber market with hostile tariffs and unjustified duties. These hasty actions have lasting consequences that harm people and businesses on both sides of the border. Distorted pricing that makes building materials more expensive and housing less affordable. Disrupted supply chains that limit productivity and discourage investment. Outcomes that put forest sector businesses, jobs, and communities on the line and at risk. But under Premier Ford, our government is ready to take swift, strategic, and decisive action to protect this essential industry, to meet economic headwinds with a path to greater achievements and global successes, and to establish Ontario-made forest products as a preferred choice in world markets, to position the province as a top destination for international investments that will power long-term growth. Today, I'm pleased to launch the Roadmap to Protecting Ontario's Forest Sector. It's our government's plan to enhance Ontario's status as the G7 leader in manufacturing and exporting forest products from our sustainable and responsibly managed forests. The roadmap commits to 3 strong pillars of action. We will first defend workers, businesses, and communities from unfair trade practices, work across jurisdictions and with our industry partners to protect our market access, and promote our forest products at home and abroad and build our skilled forestry workforce. At the same time, we will adapt the forest sector to shifting global conditions, create an environment that enables facilities to modernize, diversify, and reinforce supply chains, and expand our exports with a new strategy for international trade. Lastly, we will grow demand for forest sector businesses, building homes and community infrastructure with Ontario wood, attract global investments that will create jobs and drive industry success, and commercialize new forest products to unlock world markets. Our government has worked with the forest sector to build a track record of shared success. Our roadmap will continue building on these successes. Every roadmap action includes concrete goals for the next 2, 5, and 10 years. These goals chart the industry's path to long-term success in the emerging global forest economy. We will implement the roadmap with an all-of-government approach that reflects and reinforces forestry's connections to industry, supply chains, and communities all across this great province. I'd like to thank the Ontario Forest Industries Association, CRIBE, and Canadian Wood Council for adding expert insights to inform our roadmap, as well as the members of our government's Forest Sector Strategy Committee and Advanced Wood Committee. Lastly, I'd like to thank NOMA, FNOM, First Nations communities, and industry partners that have shared input with me across the nearly 9,000 kilometers traveled since becoming Associate Minister in 2024. Our government is keen to work with industry, Indigenous communities, and key partners to defend, adapt, and grow Ontario's forest sector in the days ahead and in the years to come. We have a plan to build a forest sector equipped to meet new competitive realities with renewed competitive advantage. A forest sector ready to reinforce Ontario's strong, self-reliant economy. A forest sector that provides more good-paying jobs for hard-working people and gives our businesses new ways to grow. Today, under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government is charting a new path forward for this essential industry, the Roadmap to Protecting Ontario's Forest Sector. I'd now like to introduce Ian Dunn, the President and CEO of the Ontario Forest Industries Association, to the microphone. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Ian Dunn, and it's an honor to be here standing beside Associate Minister Holland and Minister Harris in support of Ontario's new forest sector roadmap. Through the Ontario Forest Industries Association, I represent the primary forest industry here in the province, the companies that manage crown forests, that build roads, make lumber, engineered wood products, pulp, paper, energy, and other advanced biomaterials. I'm going to keep my remarks short. Segments of our industry are facing a crisis. Lumber producers are paying a combined 45% duty and tariff. We've seen consolidation in the pulp and paper sector and weak market conditions for many product segments. While we remain very supportive of the original forest sector strategy passed by this government in 2020, we also recognize that a new approach is necessary to meet the challenge of today. The people of Ontario need to know that while forest products are probably our most trade-impacted industry, we have also learned that no industry is immune from similar treatment, and that not all segments of the forest industry face the same issues. There are over 100 mills or forest processing facilities in the province of Ontario, operating in different market segments, making different products, and experiencing different market forces. In total, our sector supports 158,000 direct, indirect, and induced jobs. This roadmap includes 3 pillars and 9 objectives, each with steps that will be taken by year. This includes keeping critical mills operating. Forest roads are enhanced. Aggressive regulatory reform and red tape reduction. Using more wood products in provincial procurements. New tractor-trailer configurations to reduce costs. An investment attraction plan, and perhaps one of the most transformational opportunities we've been advocating for many years, expanding energy and electricity production using forest biomass and mill residuals. Anchor mills across the province, whom I talk to every day, are very excited about these commitments. These are seriously ambitious goals, and we applaud Associate Minister Harris and Minister Holland and Premier Ford for taking this bold step. As an industry, we are committed to working with Indigenous and community leaders, organized labor, and the province of Ontario to ensure that these objectives are met and that we take immediate measures to protect our industry and protect Ontario. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Stephen Street to the podium from Woodworks.
Thank you, Ian. It's a pleasure to be here with Ministers Harris and Holland and esteemed guests. It's wonderful to be in a building like this. The roadmap will be designed to help and support forest sector in adapting to new realities that it faces right now. Ontario's forest sector is undergoing a period of challenge and opportunity, highlighting the need for transformation. The structured approach outlined for defending, adapting, and growing markets is essential in the industry's survival and future growth, laying the foundation for a strong, resilient role in our evolving economy. As part of this plan, Ontario will work with the federal government and other provinces to advance forest sector transformation and building alignment across jurisdictions, reducing duplication and streamlining its processes. With recommendations from the Canadian Forest Sector Transformation Task Force expected very shortly, there is a clear opportunity to accelerate coordinated processes. Adapting to the current business climate is critically important. Through modernization and improved operational efficiency, the industry can diversify and strengthen its competitiveness. Proposed red tape reduction measures that will make accessing Ontario fibre easier and more cost efficient will create the kind of opportunity needed to sustain economic growth and attract investment. Manufacturing of a wide range of timber building components, including mass timber that we see here today, engineered wood products and structural panels, strengthens the value-added supply chain and supports a more diverse range of primary manufacturing. Pulling this all together is the need to grow new markets. Diversification is the path forward for the forest sector. Developing new materials, new processing methods, and new streams and applications for wood fibre. Expanding export markets for our forest products remains important, but so too is increasing this domestic demand. Wood-based construction products, including mass timber and other advanced wood systems, present a clear manufacturing opportunity to do more at the mill, adding value, sustaining and creating jobs, and supporting growth in the forest-dependent communities. As the construction sector shifts towards new delivery methods and modern methods of construction, this becomes even more important. All provinces in Canada are facing a significant housing crisis. Meeting this challenge will require a coordinated national effort, but the challenge also presents a massive opportunity for Ontario's businesses. By creating pipelines of repeatable projects that use advanced wood construction methods and factory-built approaches, we can drive demand, enabling businesses to scale up capacity, strengthening domestic supply chains, and create jobs across the sector. How can Ontario position itself to lead this in advanced wood construction? Already woven into this strategy is the Advanced Wood Construction Action Plan that was released last summer. The plan's focus is on innovative construction approaches, including prefabrication, methods like light wood frame, panelization, mass timber systems, volumetric modular, and all forms of panelization, floors and walls. Work is already underway to identify and address barriers to the adoption of advanced wood construction in Ontario. Reducing these barriers will help open markets, both within the province and across Canada, supporting interprovincial trade opportunities and strengthening demand for Ontario's products. Aligning certification standards and building codes will further support this effort by improving harmonization across jurisdictions, reducing uncertainty, and creating a more consistent environment for growth. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure now to introduce Scott Jackson. Scott is the President and CEO of the Centre for Research and Innovation in the Bioeconomy. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Scott Jackson, and I am the CEO of the Centre for Research and Innovation in the Bioeconomy, or CRIBE for short. I would very much like to thank Minister Harris and Associate Minister Holland for the opportunity to say a few words today, but more so I'd like to thank them both for their leadership and their vision. CRIBE is a not-for-profit, and our mission is to help position Ontario as a world leader in the forest-based bioeconomy. This entails bringing together forest feedstock, domestic and international markets, and emerging technologies to advance the manufacturing of novel and innovative wood-based products. As previously mentioned, the forest sector has always been a key part of Ontario's economy, employing tens of thousands of people and dozens of communities across this province. There is no doubt that the world has changed. Markets we typically relied on are no longer readily accessible and cannot be relied on. Competition has increased dramatically across the world, threatening some of our commodity production. And there is recognition that we need to use our natural resources not only to generate wealth through export, but to ensure that we satisfy our domestic demand and address priorities such as energy security. While these challenges exist, they are also opportunities. With strong leadership and vision and the right plan, forestry will continue to be an economic driver in this province. This roadmap provides a clear pathway to position Ontario as a global leader in forest-based innovation, ensuring the long-term viability of anchor mills while simultaneously using our world-class forest resources to support the manufacturing of novel energy products like electricity and liquid fuels, as well as advanced construction materials like cross-laminated timber, are critical to the growth of the forest sector and the economic well-being of this province. Thank you.
Abby's got another 20 minutes to do.
Now I'm going to talk about what we're doing this at T3 Bayside. But seriously, thank you for that exciting announcement, and thank you for the speakers, for your remarks, and for your leadership. I think with that, we'll conclude the official formal portion of the program. Thank you to the speakers and to everyone in attendance, and for joining Hines at our T3 Bayside project. Members of the media, I think we will now be able to have questions with the speakers. Thank you. I don't know if there's any questions, but I'll leave it open.
I think that's it. We're good to go.
Okay. Get off the hook easy today. I like that.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. This is an exciting next step for the forestry sector in Ontario as we move to defend, adapt, and grow the sector. And I'm looking forward to, looking forward in the weeks ahead to be making some exciting announcements that's really going to highlight how this plan is going to come to action. So appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for hosting us here today. Thank you.
Is the province standing to provide any assistance monetarily and supporting workers that might be facing layoffs or capital investments into helping develop new growth industry, stuff like that? Like
Sure.
British Columbia, they have modular housing that goes to India. Are we doing something to develop new plans like that with partnerships with the forest product industry?
Absolutely, and we've been doing it since we created the forest sector strategy in 2020. Since then, we've invested more than $350 million through the programs like Forest Sector Innovation Program, the Forest Biomass Program, to really help the industry position itself for the next stage of work for the sector. Moving forward on this plan, it's really about enhancing those investments to make sure that we're positioning the sector for when we fully anticipate that we're going to see change coming, we're going to see things turn, and we want to make sure that the sector is well positioned for when that opportunity comes and that we're ready to capitalize on those opportunities when it happens. So we certainly have made those investments into the sector. We'll continue to make those investments, and as I said, in the weeks coming up, we're going to see some pretty exciting announcements that is really going to highlight what the roadmap is all about. So
you see new trade partnerships being
yep.
Perhaps in
Yep.
Europe and Asia?
Absolutely. So what the whole plan is moving forward in our adapt and grow pillar is making sure that we are not just diversifying our markets, but diversifying the products that we can create using the forest sector through great research. When I landed in this file, I've had these conversations with CRIBE that we've done a tremendous amount of research and new products that we can create using forest industry, and we want to now move those forward, get those to market and commercialize, and that's going to help protect the sector moving forward. It's all about the whole diversification of the sector.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Good stuff. Amazing. Let's get a picture with the
Absolutely.
With the new
Everybody grab
roadmap.
one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cheers. Hope I don't do that one.
Yeah. What? Where would we like to do?